Hey everybody, Dave Neal here, stand-up comedian, host of Bachelor Recap, a guy's review. As you see by the title, the thumbnail here, we are going to be talking about Demi Burnett, not Demi Lovato, who's got a new docuseries coming out, which looks very fascinating. Demi Burnett, the Texas native from the franchise The Bachelor. Of course, she has been apologizing all week for her own ignorance. Little Freudian slip there. Wow. All right, this is going to be a interesting video. If there's ever a chance to take my words out of context, get ready, folks. This may be it. As you guys know, we cover a wide range of topics on my channel, everything from lighthearted stand-up comedy, irreverent Bachelor recaps, and now within the Bachelor Nation, we use it as a common denominator to how we look at social issues surrounding us. Most recently, we've been talking, and this always comes up, the topic of racism, the topic of contestants like Lee, who posted wildly racist things on Twitter back in the day, getting called out, and I say back in the day, a couple years ago. Who were you? Who are you, Lee? Really, who were you? And in today's world, we're dealing with Rachel Kirkconnell and her past, and of course, Demi Burnett, not one to be outdone. Photos leaked of her, let's just zoom in on this, right here. Photos leaked of her wearing a Yeezy jacket that's by Kanye West, which has a Confederate flag. And this is where it all emerged just 2 days ago. She apologized for it, basically saying, I'm an ignorant piece of trash, person who didn't realize how bad it was, and I'm learning in X, Y, and Z. And I understand why. How do we live in 2021 and not understand that the Confederate flag was a symbol for a treacherous secession from a country where we were fighting, to free the slaves, this and that. I'm not a historical expert, guys. I'm just a bloke from Rhode Island. But isn't it crazy that only 5 years ago, South Carolina was finally getting rid of the Confederate flag at its state house? Look at that. 5 years ago, on July 10th, 2015, South Carolina's governor and legislators showed the nation it was time to acknowledge the pain associated with the Confederate battle flag. Pretty wild stuff. Not saying that gives Demi an excuse for not understanding why she shouldn't be wearing this jacket, but we are going to talk about privilege and the different ways it exists within our country. I know for a lot of people, you hear privilege, that's like hearing woke police, that's like hearing cancel culture, that's like a triggering term for people, but some people start off closer to the finish line than others. It doesn't mean that guarantees you success, but it gives you a higher percentage to succeed based on systemic issues. So we're going to talk all about this. And again, I'm no expert. I will make mistakes. I don't edit my videos. I bring you the information that I have, and we have a dialogue. So leave a comment, hit the like button, and if there's any room left in our world for discussion, we're going to do it right here. Okay, folks? So anyway, let's play this. The reason she apologized for a second time right here, she apologized, and then yesterday she said, yesterday sucked for me, but I'm a privileged white girl, and days have sucked so much worse for people of color. So F my bad day. Let's focus on making people of color days suck less. Then this tweet made people want her to apologize for this. And look, I think if I could give Demi any advice, it's like, look, own your apology. If you're sorry for something, be sorry. But if people keep on piling on you, take the mental health day, get right, and then move forward, bringing more positive energy into the world. Make the room a better place than when you got it. I always say this with stand-up comedy. Of course, as a comic, your goal is to make people laugh, but the real barometer for how your set went is the room in a better place after I got off stage than the moment I went on? I love nothing more than being on a show where the audience sucks. The comic before you goes, oh man, I can't crack the audience. The guy's in the front row like this. There's like a divorce party there. Somebody died and they brought the funeral to the audience. The energy sucks. There's nothing better than when it starts like that and you go and you crack them and you get in there and you have a good time. You tell them some jokes, and then after the set, people go, you know what? All I needed was some laughter tonight. Thank you. You release endorphins. You feel better. So how can Demi, like the rest of us, move on from an apology, show action, be a better person, and not worry that you're still going to piss people off because not everyone has the ability to forgive right away, and that's fine too. Room for grace, we all talk about. Room for grace. So let's play her apology, and then we'll discuss it thereafter.
I fucked up again. I'm really fucking stupid. I didn't realize how I could have been misinterpreted by what I was saying, but I'm a person of fucking privilege. So I don't know the right things to say all the time. I was just trying to emphasize the fact that, like, me, a privileged person, had a bad day. Fuck my day.
To interrupt here briefly, if you don't mind, thank you so much. It's almost like she knows she wants to do better, but she can't quite eloquently say what she wants to say. This is most people. We love it when we can see someone like Mike Johnson who can just beautifully say what everyone's thinking. We love that eloquence. We love it when people can just like speak truth and you get it. But most people are like Demi, bumbling idiots. Just bumbling idiots. You know why I know that? It's by the way, shout out to Connie and Luke, my mom and my stepdad. It's their 25th wedding anniversary today. For a surprise for them, we brought together 40 relatives and everyone recorded a video and I edited it together for them. It's private. You don't get to see the video. But I realize not everyone's a public speaker. People get in front of the camera. They clam up. They don't know what they want to say. Even with my mom's, my stepdad's anniversary video, people were like, "Happy anniversary, Connie and Luke. We're so happy for you." And then people would mess up because we're not all public speakers. It's a lot of people's greatest fear. So for her to bumble through an apology, can't we have a little grace and realize that it's a hard thing to do when you know you mean well, you know you've messed up, and you just want to help make it right?
Because there are a lot of people who have had much worse days. So it doesn't matter if I have a bad day. What matters is that we make right in the world and we do things for other people in the world. Not me, a privileged fucking person. That's all that I was trying to say, and I fucked up, and I'm really sorry. And I don't think I'm ever going to get it right, but I am really sorry, and I'm trying, and I genuinely mean that. I am not talking to white people right now that I know I may have disappointed. I'm disappointed in myself. I understand that. But I'm like trying to talk to the people that I've hurt, because that's what's important to me, is like trying to make that right. And obviously I'm not going about it the right way. Like, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. Like, I'm just trying to be authentic. I don't have a PR team. I don't have anyone telling me how to go about this. It's just like me coming on here and being like, yeah, I'm a fucking idiot, because I know I am. And I am mad at myself too. But like, I want to have conversations with people that I've hurt, and like I want to do whatever I can to help like make this better, make this right, like not just me, but like make the world better, make the world more right. Like I don't know. I'm trying, and I know I'm sucking, and I apologize for miswording things, and I literally am so sorry still. Like, it's real. I'm really.
Now, here's what's important. We can feel bad for Demi for that inability to get out what she truly means, for just not being able to get out of her own way. She's tripping right off the starting line. She fell off the gate. She's got 100 yards to go. She pulled a hamstring. She's in the wrong lane. It's raining. She slips and falls. I mean, she literally can't get out of the gate on this apology. At the same time, this doesn't negate the feeling that victims are rightfully allowed to feel when they see a Confederate flag and they think of their ancestors hung, and they think of the racism that existed when they were on the school bus as a kid, and they think of the fact that when they walk down an alleyway or when they walk somewhere that people are judging them, or that someone's following you through a 7-Eleven. Like, you can feel your emotional sort of feeling to seeing the Confederate flag and what it means to you, and at the same time, we can walk and chew gum, folks. At the same time, Demi clearly wants to make it right. A lot of people have said, oh, she just keeps apologizing for being stupid. She keeps apologizing for being an idiot. Where's the change? Well, look, stupid is as stupid does. I mean, maybe she does want to change, and maybe she just can't get out of her own way. We're going to discuss this a little bit more. In the meantime, I do want to share some love. BachelorNation.scoop. This is who I've been playing this through. They have an Instagram. It's at Instagram. It's Instagram.BachelorNation.scoop or whatever. That's their handle. They really do a great job of compiling all of this data together. That's easy to flip through, so I love using them. Instagram isn't monetized the same way YouTube is, so I make some cheddar. I make a few bucks talking about these issues on my platform on YouTube, but on Instagram, they don't get that. So if you guys wouldn't mind, I actually asked the person who runs BachelorNation.scoop if they would send me their Venmo, And they were like, oh, yeah, but you don't need to donate anything. And I was like, no, I think it would be very nice for my audience if we could all donate $1 or 50 cents or a cup of coffee just to keep them running their show over there. So if you guys don't mind, send them a donation. Tell them you heard them over here at Dave Neal's YouTube. It's at Bachelor Nation Scoop on Venmo. $2, guys, $3, $1, $100, whatever you trust fund, MFers, whatever you got out there. If you want to slide them some money, I do want to promote other people's work and get them paid and all that jazz. So anyway, back to Demi. We talk about privilege. She goes, oh, I've got privilege. I'm a piece of shit. I should know better. All right, privilege, but you're also, Demi called it privilege. All right, privilege, Demi. But also, privilege exists in different ways. And while you do have privilege, she doesn't have the privilege that Kit does. She doesn't have the privilege that somebody does that grew up literally trust fund, ready to go, Ivy League schools, education, this and that. There's different types of privilege. Privilege can be your sexuality, class, ability, gender, race, education. There's a lot of different privilege. We'll jump into them. You could have the privilege of being Senator Ted Cruz and traveling to Cancun while your whole state is dying. You could have that privilege. Senatorial privilege. He's got male privilege, senatorial privilege. He's got privilege of power, privilege of education. He's got a lot of privileges right there. Doesn't exactly have the white privilege, but he's got so many privileges, it makes up for what he doesn't have. Privileges, speaking of privilege, look at this. Oh, I didn't know this was the next tab. This is my mom's 25th wedding anniversary today, and this is me walking my mom down the aisle when she married my stepdad. Look how cute I was. A little chubby. Still got the hair, though. Not too bad 25 years later. Looking pretty good. I just wanted to give my mom a shout out. She would kill me, but she doesn't know how to work YouTube. What are you doing over there on the TV, Dave? Not much, Mom. Don't worry about it. Shout out to Connie and Luke. We talk about privilege. Oh, that's not the one I wanted. All right, there it is. Let's go. Let's just zoom in on here. Social privileges versus social burdens. This would help if I could open this. Let's open image in new tab and get to it right here. Let's do this. We're working on the fly. So, of course, white privilege. Demi's got it. I have it. We don't have the burden of systematic racism. Anti-black, anti-indigenous. We don't have that. I've got male privilege. Demi doesn't have that. Demi has to deal with misogyny. So Demi's got the privilege of attraction. She's a good-looking woman. That's a privilege that can help you out, but it can also hurt you. My fiance is a working model. She's got the privilege of just being born with beautiful eyebrows and looking attractive, but that comes at a cost. The cost being she's harassed, she's catcalled, she can't walk alone at night from her car. I'll never know what that's like. Until we started dating, I never knew what it was like to have to be like, are you on your way home? Okay, I'm going to watch you from the apartment and make sure you get in, okay? Or I'm going to come out and walk you from the garage. I never had to worry about that. I don't have to worry about walking down the street with my headphones on and thinking I'm going to get mugged, raped, or whatever. So I've got the privilege there of gender, not having to worry about that. It's important, too, with my platform that I might connect with people that might not think of these things. Right, guys? You might not think about that while you're at the gym working out. You don't have to worry about getting bothered by someone who sees you doing that leg machine where you're working the inner snatch. What is that? The snatch? You don't have to worry about doing that and some guy's videotaping you or something. You know what I mean? Like you don't know what you don't know, and that's what privilege is all about. Class privilege. I don't know if Demi's got class privilege. I know her mom spent a lot of time in the state penitentiary or wherever she was. So I know Demi comes from a lower place of socioeconomic structure where she doesn't have the same privilege of wealth. And we'll talk about education. Religious privilege. I don't have to worry about anti-Semitism. Raised Irish Catholic in a town where everyone was Irish Catholic. So no problem there. I am straight-laced, white, male, middle class. I didn't ever have the wealth privilege. I grew up with a single mom until, my mom remarried. And I was the kid who had, all the coaches had to pay me extra attention. I learned to throw from my mom, and I'm still kind of figuring that out. You know what I mean? So there's different privileges. And we have to study these things. Information privilege. I don't know if Demi has an information privilege. Did you have a lot of books at home? Did you have access to books in your first language and books about your culture? I had an easy access to the internet growing up. People in today's world are growing up. You talk about food deserts. The only food near them is a 7-Eleven and a McDonald's. You're putting horrible food into your brain, and you're supposed to go study and get smarter. Does your high school have AP offerings? High school have a librarian? Simple things like that. Did you learn how to write research papers? Did you learn how to critically think? All these are privileges. College. Did you have a personal computer? Did your professor provide students with full text or course learnings? Clearly, Demi didn't have some of this education if she's still wearing an American flag on the patch and not realizing what that is. So we don't need to apologize for people who didn't know this, but we do have to have compassion that just because you go, oh my gosh, it's 2021. How did you know that wasn't X, Y, and Z? Some people don't. Some people don't. And is that ignorance something? And people go, well, how could you have the internet? You should be able to figure it out. Well, explain that to everyone who follows QAnon. March 4th, Donald Trump's coming back to president. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So it's like we can call people stupid. We can call them ignorant. We can call them racist. And some of those things might be true. But information, education, that's how we overcome bigotry. That's how we overcome racism, ignorance. By showing people that, there's some truth outside of whatever their little colloquial education system is. I mean, things that are in the textbooks, we don't have a nationalized system where everybody learns page 79 to 202. We don't have that. You go to Kentucky where my fiance was raised, they thought the Confederate flag and the Confederate movement was about state rights. They thought the Civil War was about state rights. Southern pride. There's PR campaigns that teach people, no, it's about Southern pride. So yes, it's bad. It's bad when someone attends one of these plantation events that have been outlawed. But it doesn't mean they knew better. And if they didn't know better, we can hold them accountable. But at the same time, we need to look at the structure that let that fly. Okay, guys? So this is where my words will get twisted. Someone said I'm a Confederate apologist. I'm from Rhode Island. I'm from Aquidneck Island. We have a bridge to get on and off my island. I didn't know anything about this. I didn't learn anything about this. But when you see it, you go, oh my gosh, this is ridiculous over here. All right, let's continue. Where were we? So yeah, different types of privileges. We talked about the information privilege. But of course, the easiest privilege to see is the color of your skin. That's the easiest privilege to see. And that's the one we have to give everybody sort of an equal amount of love. And we need to overcome the fact that, a white guy in New York City wasn't getting stopped and frisked like a black guy was. So obviously, the prison system was meant to be a modern form of enslavement if we're only going to target specific demographics, and then they can't vote because they, were a felon. Do you know what I mean? It's this systemic issue that needs to be just cut off. And we're overcoming that, folks. We're not going to solve it with this YouTube video. Here's a privilege for Demi. Look at her. She was on the WWE. She came out of the closet. She's bisexual or whatever she identifies as now. I'm not 100% sure. Look at that. She's just eating this steak or this chicken leg or turkey leg, whatever the hell that is. Nice midriff there. She's dating this guy on the show. She does the WWE. She's basically in a soap opera. I mean, how many contestants get to come out of the closet, go on Ellen DeGeneres, and get a soap opera? When Ellen DeGeneres came out of the closet, she was fired. Do you guys remember that? I got a young audience. When Ellen DeGeneres came out of the closet, she was fired. People didn't want to know that she wasn't kissing a man in her home life like she was on TV. It took her years to overcome that, to be one of the biggest voices for the movement. You know what I mean, guys? Very, very complicated stuff when we talk about all of this, when we talk about the different types of privilege. Privilege is basically things that you can't control that you were given to start your life. Attraction, color, gender, intelligence. We talked about the intelligence prism over there. God-given rights. If you believe in God, if God gave you white color skin, he gave you privilege. He gave you a platform that others might not have. What is it that you're going to do with it? Don't always apologize for your privilege. You can apologize for your ignorance, but what are you going to do with the privileges that you have? If you're a good-looking guy like Mario Lopez, your privilege might be that you get to host a show or you get to be buff and be on Saved by the Bell. You got a privilege over the ugly guy named Mario Lopez who doesn't get to do that. What are you going to do with your privilege? Then we come to things like work ethic, optimism, positive energy, growth mindset, emotional IQ. Those stem from privileges, how you were raised as a child. Were you raised in a healthy home? Were you raised in a way where your parents were loving and they stayed together and they raised you to have a faith-based system or whatever it is? There's privileges that come in all different ways. I know I sound redundant. I know this might be obvious to you. What I would love, leave a comment. Tell me what your biggest privilege is. I'd love to hear you guys. You don't have to apologize for it, but it does have to be something we are aware of so that we can further the conversation. I got a buddy of mine. I'll leave it on this. I got a buddy of mine who's very wealthy. He had millions of dollars that he was able to invest in other companies, and he was able to build on that wealth. And he once tried to tell me how to run my business, and all I could think of was, bro, you started this race as the vice president of the company before you were even born. And you're trying to tell me, an unpaid intern, how to get to the top, and I just can't understand it. So that's like me as a white guy trying to tell people how to overcome not having privilege. I understand I can't do that. I got the privilege of a nice hairline. Look at that. You guys all saw that. Look at that. 25 years later, you know what I mean? So we can talk about our privileges without apologizing for who we are, because we can't change that. But what we can do is try to have the discussion. And as far as Demi's concerned, if I can give Demi any advice, it would be to just keep trying to do better in life. Keep trying to listen. Keep trying to have that dialogue. Everything she's doing. You guys have a good one. We'll see you later on. I've got more updates about Dale and Claire over there in Florida. We'll hit that breaking news as it comes. And be kind, everybody. I'll see you in the comment section. Congratulations, Connie. Love you, Mom.